Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily Devotional. Today we continue in our series in Luke, exploring who Jesus is. Let's read from Luke 5:33 to 35. They said to him, "John's disciples often fast and pray, and so do the disciples of the Pharisees, but yours go on eating and drinking." Jesus answered, "Can you make the friends of the bridegroom fast while he is with them? But the time will come when the bridegroom will be taken from them. In those days, they will fast." Today's lesson. The Christian life is to have moments of feasting and fasting, celebration of God and fasting and mourning, as we plead for his kingdom to come. Yesterday we saw that if we are truly seeking to reach those who don't know Jesus, we will, like Jesus on occasion, be misunderstood as being in compromise. When they see Jesus eating and drinking at this banquet, some are offended and wonder if a religious teacher should be behaving like this. They question him on fasting because they feel that self-sacrifice or asceticism rather than feasting should mark out a truly holy person. Jesus firstly challenges their unbelief. They are failing to celebrate who Jesus is and that God in Christ is with them. Fasting, he is saying, is very important, but feasting is more appropriate at times such as this, when God has come among his people. He uses the analogy of a wedding when it's inappropriate to fast and mourn at such a moment of celebration. So the challenge comes to us. Do we have seasons of celebration? Do we celebrate on a regular basis that Jesus has come and that Jesus is with us and what Jesus has achieved for us? Secondly, after speaking about celebration, because Jesus is with them, he goes on to speak of his being taken from them. This is a reference to his death and resurrection and ascension into heaven. At that time, Jesus teaches, in those days they will fast. In this era, we are to have seasons of feasting and fasting. We're to have times of celebration and eating together. We're also to have times of prayer and fasting as we mourn the world and our desire for Jesus to save and restore. Fasting is appropriate when we are dissatisfied and are wanting to see God work in greater measure. At such times, we want to give more focus to prayer, to seeking for his kingdom to come. So in response, the Christian life is to have moments of feasting and fasting, celebration of God, and fasting and mourning as we plead for his kingdom to come. Our reading today tells us, but the time will come when the bridegroom will be taken from them. In those days you will fast. So are we all celebration and feasting, or are we all fasting and mourning? Do we have a balance of both of these elements in our lives? Some of us can be quite down with the world, can't we? And the world, it has got darkness. And we can be so focused on the darkness of the world and the need of the world that we can forget to celebrate. Jesus wants us to do both. Remember, the joy of the Lord is your strength. So if we're going to be those who pray and fast and see God's kingdom come, we must also be those who celebrate his mercy and power. God bless you.